Just a quick video, and it'll be titled Spiritual People Seem to Always Lose. I'm gonna start off with Martin Luther King, right? He was a very spiritual person. He was very sincere, seemed very sincere in his belief in Christianity and things of that nature. Black people in general seem to be very religious, more more so than white people. I mean, look at MLK. Everybody loves MLK nowadays, right? But in reality, though, a lot of those people who said they loved MLK, or a lot of people who say they love MLK today, don't give a fuck about MLK. When he was alive, they slandered his name, beat him up, sick dogs on him, threw him in jail, stabbed him, and eventually put a bullet in his head, right? Now they love him. Like I said before, I don't need that kind of love. If that's what it takes for these motherfuckers to love you, they can keep it. But what I'm saying is, in the larger scheme of things, spiritual people tend to lose because after they've killed you, what they'll do is they'll honor you. And the reason that they honor you after they kill you is because they can shape your image now. They can change people's perception of you to to fit within the structure, the very structure that you was fighting against. You see what I'm saying? The government hated Martin Luther King. Personally, I believe that the government is who actually killed Martin Luther King. But now they honor him and with a statue and a holiday and all that kind of stuff. But it's all just a smokescreen to appear as if they gave a damn about him. You see, they'll they'll honor you as long as you're dead. But when you're alive and you're asking the tough questions and putting these very people in uncomfortable situations, they'll hate your guts. They'll literally want you dead and will do so. And what a lot of spiritual people don't understand is no matter how spiritual you are, you're fighting against flesh. You're fighting against bullets, knives, guns, tanks. These are things that are actually more powerful than your thoughts and your beliefs. You see what I'm saying? Like, you could be the most spiritual person in the world, but a bullet to the temple can take all that away. And it may not take it away, it'll kill you, which will render you ineffective. And they can kill you and erase your memory or distort your memory, which which will also render your belief system and your strength, spiritual strength, and courage ineffective. It's just like I go back to Martin Luther King because he was much more than the "I have a dream" and all that old shit. He was much bigger and looked at things from a much bigger perspective than that. But he had been reduced to blacks and whites holding hands and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like what they do with Malcolm X. You know, Malcolm X was a powerful guy, but Malcolm X was a very deep brother, right? And if you watch the movie, they make it seem as if Malcolm went to Mecca and just changed his views and became like Martin Luther King and loved white people and all that shit. When Malcolm X was still very pro-black, you see. But back to what I was saying, the the spiritual warriors is are almost waging a battle that is impossible to win because you're one person and you could be many people, but many people can be destroyed. It's just like, okay, let's take the Native Americans, right? The white people have almost basically wiped most of them out, right? There should be way more Native Americans here than anybody else, but they killed them off. And now look what you have. You have baseball teams, football teams with Native Americans as the mascots. And the reason that they can do this is because their voice has been silenced or very silent. And so they could put a happy face on a Native American mascot, and you'll be like, "Oh, we're happy people," you know. Even though just like Thanksgiving, which is a big fraud too. Millions of people celebrate Thanksgiving, not knowing the history of white people and Native Americans, you know, and how much of a slap in the face that that would be to them that holiday. But this what they can do these things to your image once they've killed you off and silenced you to a certain degree. And I see that same thing sort of happening to black people. Even though back in the day, they did the same thing to black people. Go back in the day and look up things like the black black people weren't put in circus. They had games where you would have a black face and the white people would get three balls and they would throw the ball and try to hit the black person in the face. They had dish detergent and washing powder and shit called nigger hair with a little black person on it, and there were all kind of little statues and caricatures of black people. And some of them still exist today, like Uncle Ben, Rice, Aunt Jemima. That's all that shit comes from then, back then. So black people being spiritual has never gotten black people very far. And it never will because only thing that white people really respect is power. See, most white people are not really religious. Black people, a lot of black people aren't really religious either. But you got some black people who really, really believe in it, you know, with all their being. But they still have to dance to the beat that those non-spiritual, material people in power make them dance to. See, black people like we like to have this symbolic shit. you know, like shit that ain't tangible, and we'll look at that shit as a victory. Like this is why people take black people as a joke. Even Barack Obama, all the politicians do. It's just like I said before, a white politician can go to a black neighborhood and hold a black baby or kiss a black baby, and black people will be like, "Oh, he likes black people. Let's vote for him." And when he gets in office, he does nothing for you. It's just like with Obama. Obama does nothing for black people, but he does a lot of tangible things for homosexuals. And black people have given Obama unconditional support, even though he don't give a fuck about you. Black people have to become more mature in the way that they think, in the way that we view people. It's just like how black people will talk about that's reverse racism against white folks. If you talk this type of shit, because they've met a few good white people, and just because you met a few good white people don't mean shit. Just like I said before, of course white people are going to be nice to you and shit now because they have every fucking thing. Wouldn't you be nice to a motherfucker if you cleaned out? It's just like cleaning out a motherfucking house, going in a man's house, cleaning him out of everything valuable, like his furniture and television and his money and things of that nature. Now you're leaving the house empty. You leave him in the house empty. He's still alive though, and he's happy to be alive. And you're across the street with all his shit. And next time he sees you, he be nice to you because he's got everything he wanted from you. He can't. You can't take shit else from black people or white people can't. What the fuck else can you take from black people? You see what I'm saying? A white man can be racist. He can still fuck a black woman. You see what I'm saying? He can still fuck a black man's black woman. And a white man can treat a black woman like shit. And she'll still be like, white men are better. If that's not cleaning the motherfucker out, I don't know what is. All the natural resources in Africa are ran by white folks. Look at the Native Americans. They have nothing neither. White people have cleaned. They have a little more than us because they give them casinos and shit. But even that's a joke because the white man come here and take your house, and he give you a little spot in the corner, the little small attic, and say you can live in here. You see what I'm saying? So black people need to get out of this spiritual shit. It's all about material and tangible things.